Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Inches and Cubes, your Toronto-based Warhammer 40k and all its subsidiary hobby thing podcast.
Woo! Yay!
We're back! Alright, so we're back after a wonderful holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I know you guys were stuck here in minus 30 weather when I was on the beach down in Florida.
To be fair, I was stuck in Labrador while you were on the beach in Florida.
That's true. I feel bad.
You shouldn't feel
You
like
were in Atlanta though, right, Adam?
Which is supposed to be nice, but they got more snow than we had at that point in time in the year before we went.
So, Nick, I think officially the first thing I'd like to say to you in this season of Inches and Cubes is you can go to hell.
Okay. Florida kind of felt like that sometimes.
Like that hot?
No, it's a weird place, man.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell the people why we're here?
We're here to talk to you about something really cool. What I'm hoping is the first of many things that Games Workshop is going to be releasing. Chapter Approved, or as Paul wants to call this episode, Chapter House Rock.
Listen, people of a certain age...
We're moving past that.
That's a really good joke, you guys.
We're moving past that. So
Here,
this
I'll transition it like this.
Oh.
Hey-o.
What are you drinking, Adam?
Okay, so...
Please don't read that all.
We got Henderson's Studio 2. This is a little Jamaica export. And I think they're just throwing a little... They say Toronto was definitely, like, a big part of it was, you know, because of the Jamaicans to make it what it was since the 60s with their music and food and style and all that. So they're just giving a little shout out to our Jamaican brothers and sisters. So thank you for that.
Oh.
Cool. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
I mean, the real jerk was in a Rihanna video.
What?
The real
The
jerk.
Real jerk.
Oh,
like
oh.
the restaurant. I know,
Right.
he said it like it was a person.
Yes, Steve Martin.
The Hamburglar.
The Hamburglar. So I'm going to join you. I'm trying to do a semi-dry January where the only times I drink are when I'm out or doing the podcast. So I'm not drinking at home anymore.
So I'm going out a lot more.
No. So this is smoked honey, lightly smoked, easy drinking brown ale. Yes, made with real honey. Enjoy with barbecue, hard or soft cheese, or soft fruit. Share it with friends and enemies.
Fair enough.
Interesting.
You know what? I'm just going to fire up a Henderson's Best. Because you know it, you love it, and Henderson's is always really good to us.
Henderson's is really good to us.
Yeah.
So give us free beer.
One day. Paul and I have had free beer there before.
Yes.
Oh, you left before that happened.
Yeah. But we can't talk about it.
Well, that's quite nice.
Oh, what do you got?
I insist you try that. So as Paul tries that beer, and
As Blakely tries to go to bed.
cries in the background. So we're talking about Chapter Approved. I think this is probably one of the biggest. It seems so small, but when you really think about it, the impact it's going to have on the hobby, because it's the first of many. This is Chapter Approved 2017, right? Which means that there's going to be one each year, and some of the stuff that's included in it really changed the game, and I think future-proofs the hobby
Yeah.
a little bit, right?
And we'll get into that'll be our main topic. But what do we normally do? Normally we take us through. We're shaking off a lot of rust here.
Oh God, yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, we have an intro bit. don't
Yeah,
we?
remember it's a whole 3-segment thing that it took us.
That we stole from another podcast.
Oh,
Oh
no,
no, wait,
I don't know what you're talking
that was
about.
somebody else who accused us of that.
Yeah.
So, Adam, why don't you tell us what's on your new and improved hobby desk?
Oh, I would love to. So, a big part of my hobby progress, just personally, was buying a Battlefleet Gothic fleet, but that doesn't count. But I also stripped it down, cleaned it up, and prepared it for priming. And it's a fairly big fleet. And some pieces were missing, which I knew about when I bought it on eBay. So I had to recast some bits, which they turned out horribly. But it's good enough because I gotta get it done. And I'm excited. I'm excited to paint it up, match the Loon Wolves, and use them in some campaign stuff. And then the reason Nick said my hobby desk is new and improved is because I added another layer of shelving on top, which helped me clean up a little bit. And I put in a cool light, which has totally changed my life.
Yeah, and it feels like it's going to combat the seasonal affective disorder that you might have. What is that? A UV lamp?
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah.
Feels
It's
nice.
just fluorescence.
It's No, it's LED actually.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's not even warm.
Yeah, no, it's great. And it was super cheap. Got it from Costco. Chained it onto the pipes hanging from the ceiling, and we're good to go.
Well, that's what those chains are for. Good, I was going to ask.
No, you weren't.
That's for the fun time.
Oh boy.
Paul, what do you got?
I dug out all the assassin models from the box set, the whatever the board game was called, because I figured we were gonna be able to use them in an upcoming campaign that we're gonna.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got bad news for your characters. So I started work on the. What's the guy with the psychic gun on his head?
Calexis.
Yeah, so him and the lady who can shape change.
Calidus.
Yeah, Calidus.
Nice.
So I took those out, and with the Calidus, I just looked at the model, and there's like a cord that goes from the sword to her backpack and the gun to her backpack, and I just snipped them off because it's so finicky. It's like the size of a B string on a guitar, so it's just gonna break in transit. So I snipped those off, and I'm gonna work them up, and they're gonna be fun character models because I don't ever foresee using them in matched play. So narrative play is where they're gonna get their start.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's it. Cool. Yeah, so I was away and busy for most of the holidays and our break, so I haven't had a chance to do a whole lot. My hobby progress is Battlefleet Gothic related as well. I made an entire set of counters for myself. So Battlefleet Gothic uses counters to represent torpedoes, bombers, torpedo bombers, fighters, and explosions. And I just printed off a whole bunch of stuff from online, laid it on some card paper, glued it down, cut it out, and yeah. Because they don't have the order dice either, right? So I made a whole bunch of the order blocks, so I can just throw them down next to ships to represent them being on orders. Because James and I are playing tomorrow, and neither of us have counters.
Oops.
Yeah. So I was like, I need to get this done if we're actually going to play a game.
Yeah, they're super handy, and having ones that match your faction and the unique ordnance that you can launch in each faction is super handy. You'll never get them confused.
Exactly.
Which is good. So that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it all sounds like pretty light hobby progress, but I guess you guys can understand. It's been the holidays, it's been fun, we've been doing family time and other things, and...
yeah, we just rolled back. I rolled back from vacation out east to find that the heat was off in my apartment because of a broken furnace. So I get off the plane, and the landlord sends me an email like while I'm in a taxi out of my place. He's like, just so you know, the furnace isn't working, and then the next day the pipes froze, and then the day after that one of them burst. So it was like a cool welcome back to the city, Paul. So I consider up until the 5th also part of 2017.
Yeah, our flights haven't been good, eh?
No.
I got stuck in Detroit for a night on my way down.
Yeah.
And I had no winter clothes. Ooh. So I was freezing, running around an airport strip trying to find somewhere to eat at midnight. And I was supposed to come back on Thursday, and they were like, no, sorry. There's a bomb cyclone.
Yeah, calm down, East Coast. Like, you get bad weather.
And they couldn't put me on a flight to Toronto until Saturday.
From Wednesday?
Thursday,
yeah.
which was nuts.
Yeah, I got stuck in St. John's for a night, and I just like went up to the counter. I was like, "Listen, I don't know anyone in St. John's. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Is there anywhere you can put me up?" And they were like, "Yeah, Air Canada will put you up in this hotel. Well, here's a meal voucher." I was like, "Cool." I get to my hotel room, and I just call my cousins, and I'm like, "Hey guys, you want to hang out?"
You got a meal voucher?
Yeah, I got a meal voucher. It's because of my... I think what happened is, like, a woman that was flying from Winnipeg who kept getting messed with worse than everyone else, she got one, and then the entire flight found out about it, and they were going to mutiny.
I got stuck in a hotel that I think hadn't been redesigned since, like, the Mad Men set designers were in there.
Nice.
Like, it looked like it was stuck in like, the late 60s Detroit Motor City style.
Little cigarette dispenser on the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's cigarette ashtrays everywhere.
Man. Stuff like that makes me want to smoke.
Including in the airport.
Crazy.
There's smoking lounges. Anyways.
Smoke on planes.
Games played. Adam?
Oh man, I didn't even think about this. Did I play a game?
You must have. For the channel, you released one against Mike. Or was that Jay?
Oh, yeah, okay. Was that after?
You playing Mike Chapman?
Yeah. So I played 2 games then.
Yeah. So
Oh, man, that's still like a month ago. It's crazy how far back.
Yeah. No, it's been a month since we recorded.
Yeah. Cool. So I played 2 games. You can see them both on the Account of Wargaming channel, and you probably get a better description than what I'm about to give you. No, okay, I do remember. So I asked him. I asked his opinion of whether he wanted to play Gilman or not. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. And we knew we were playing 2 games. So I was like, well, I'll tell you what, he's kind of a jerk, so I'll bring one less with him, one less without him.
Mike or Gilliman?
Mike.
Mike's a jerk?
No. Gilliman's definitely the jerk. Mike's a nice guy. Especially when he posts pictures of him in a banana hammock.
He plays water polo with tiny, tiny aquatic horses. Seahorses.
And so then we showed up on the day to film the game, and he's like, so this is like my 3rd game of 8th edition. And I'm like, dude, you should have said no to Gilliman.
Nah, he don't mess around.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, so the first game basically was he was taking a Terminator drop list, which right before we went to film his army choice, he realized he could only have half his army in reserve.
Mike!
So then he had to rearrange it all, and it totally screwed up his stuff. So then basically first he gets first turn, drops all his Terminators right in front of my army. Doesn't make any of his charges, which he was totally planning on making, and in turn, all my Hellblasters jump out and rip apart his entire army. So,
yeah.
Though kudos to him, he did manage to take Gilliman down once, but he got back up, and then he couldn't finish him off with, I think it was Bjorn. Bjorn did the killing.
Bjorn will do it.
Man, that's like the Gilliman coming back thing.
You're like, really? Did he need that?
Yeah,
For the points.
yeah. Like it should be. You gotta summon him again. You gotta pay his points again.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like if you need points to bring horrors in when they split.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
there you go. I fixed it. Money, please.
Because you're literally
GW.
just playing with a 385-point handicap.
Yeah. Or could you just like average the roll you get on the d6 and just give him 3 more wounds? Oh no, because that would put him over 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then he's targetable. It screws up everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then the second game we played again, and he had the same issue because he had a whole bunch of units in drop pods. So he had to rearrange that.
He hasn't rejigged his army since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he jumped up one of the transport flyers, and then I proceeded to surround it and destroy it, and killed most of the unit inside, which he was like, oh shoot, that's still a thing, basically. And it was actually a much closer game the second time, but just through attrition and denying him spots to drop in units later, I just managed to take him on that too. So that was that.
So yeah, he's a real jerk.
Yeah.
And just a spoiler for later on in this episode, he did get a points increase in chapter approved.
Good.
25 points.
Ooh. Stupid.
Especially when all your Marines went down in points too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't played no games. I haven't played a game in a month. I need to change that, and I'll be looking to do that real soon.
Let's do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
Well, playing games. Also dug through my bits box to see what I can convert a Necron fleet out of for Battlefield Gothic. I forgot to mention that.
Battlefleet.
Gothic?
Not Battlefield Gothic.
Oh. Battlefield, Battlefleet.
We're just hounding Paul to play so bad. Because a bunch of us got the bug. We got the Battlefleet bug pretty bad.
Yeah, so...
15, 20 people in that group now?
Yeah.
Man, that's a huge... Like, especially for a game that doesn't have any official support right now.
But that's, I think, what's so cool about it is... So, I'll talk about my games played. It's just 2 Battlefleet Gothic games. And one thing I've noticed is the people who like this game have taken it and ran with it. The fan support is just second to none. People made those markers that I bought. So I found race-specific Chaos Ordnance upgrades, markers. People made those. And they're high quality. And they made them for every single race.
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And people have made expanded, because they stopped doing the rules back in 2009, I want to say, for Battlefleet Gothic.
Man, I'm surprised if they even went that long. But yeah,
And there's been a couple guys who've like expanded and revised some of the rules to make it more seamless and balance the fleets out. And it's just a ton of fun to play. It's a really clear game. There's not a lot of ambiguity, and I'm really digging it. So I played one game against Phil before Christmas, kind of relearning the game because I played a little bit last year but hadn't played since. So he plays Necrons, and they're just nuts.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
So basically, you don't really have a save ever unless you brace for impact, which means that your weapons aren't very effective. All the Necron ships are always braced for impact, and all their weapons stay effective.
that's so good.
And they're so fast.
Because it's the one trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So they're really good. They've got great offensive output. We didn't play it properly. We messed up a few rules. I forgot that I was on orders. We forgot that he could repair in my end phase, which kind of skewed it towards my favor. But I still blew up 2 of his ships in like the first turn without any repairs happening. So it was kind of like,
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
big indicator.
it was a big indicator. Yeah, he just went like right into my ship's lines, and I was like, okay,
That's a bad idea against
Just-
Chaos Cruisers.
yeah, and just blasted them with weapons, batteries, and lances. And then I played Connor last night. Another fun game. Not so much for him. Sorry, Connor. I know you're in a coma. But we did play Battlefield Gothic. I was just sitting by your hospital bed playing with myself.
That's awkward.
The forced security
That's,
game.
That's really awkward.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, no. No, I meant playing Battlefield Gothic with myself. No, played Connor. He plays an Imperial fleet. We've played before. This was the only time I've ever beat him, and that's because I trapped him in an asteroid field and then hit him with leadership debuffs, and his ships crashed into the asteroids and blew themselves up, and I really didn't do much work. He literally lost a quarter of his fleet in like one turn.
I love that.
No one can survive in an asteroid field.
The odds are 3,621 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
I love you guys.
So yeah, that's my games played. I'm really looking forward to... I play Phil in 30K on Thursday. He's going to be doing his Custodes, and I have another group chat with John Tung and Chaz, and Chaz has given me just... I'm so scared of these Custodes.
You should be. They're terrifying.
Yeah.
I remember reading you the rules when they came out, and I was like, do you see this?
Yeah, so Phil was like, build the hardest list, so I'm bringing the Falchion, and I'm bringing a 10-man plasma support squad and a Dreadclaw.
They mess up your deep strike.
What do you mean they mess up my deep strike?
The Custodes, they have like a piece of war gear that you can't deep strike next to them or close to them. I mean, you'll be able to do your deep strike in turbo.
The Dreadclaw thing, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll be fine.
Because you could fly into range of it.
Yeah.
Which is...
But I won't
why
be able to
Dreadclaws
deep strike and then get out and blast them, which was the plan.
right away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm giving you a heads up. I don't want. No one likes gotcha moments.
Nope. So yeah, that'll be fun. I think the Falchion should help.
Yeah. It basically kills the thing a turn.
Not in 30K. D weapons in 30K are weird. Because you still get the rerollable 3-up invulnerable save against it, right?
Well, you're not shooting his HQ with
He
that.
puts it out in front, and then if he gets hit with the D weapon, then he's going to look out the hits that aren't the ignore invulnerable saves.
There's other stuff to shoot.
Well, actually, not really. He's got like 3 units in the entire army because there's like 500 points each.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
It'll be different than playing Marines, which is, for a game that doesn't have any variety, as some people say about 30K.
Nah, I don't believe that at all.
This will be a very interesting matchup.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited to play on that event too.
Yeah, we've got lots of fun stuff coming up for that event.
Yeah.
What event? Am I signed up?
Yeah, I made you
Oh, right.
because you were lazy.
Yeah, that's me.
I just want to force myself to play it again because there's for some reason I feel no drive to play it.
We should play a 30K game.
I mean, it definitely needs some practice.
Yeah, let's play a 30K game.
When's
we'll figure it out.
What's the actual date of the event?
February 20th.
February 20th.
10th.
20th.
It's on Facebook. You're invited.
I know, my hand is right here, though. I wrote it on my hand.
But no, we'll play a game, and we'll figure it out, because I still dig it. I haven't played a game with the new rules, although the new rules We'll do an entire podcast on them. There's no new rules.
Yeah, we'll do an entire segment of a
I wish.
podcast on this.
Yeah, I wish they actually came out with an FAQ for the new rule book that clarified more things than the new rule book.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, what do you...
It's like it comes out and then people yell and scream and they're like, "Oh right, we didn't do the obvious."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they got rid of sniper flamers in the FAQ.
Why were sniper flamers ever a thing?
Who gets paid around there to do this stuff?
Like I said, like I miss Bly.
Yeah.
They're just getting the interns to do it now. It's like,
Yeah.
And they're focusing on other things probably.
All right, that's our intro segment. We got a little bit of an editorial there. So listen to these new ads.
Battle Brothers Studios, a commission painting service passionate about making your miniatures and your gaming table look great. Our philosophy at Battle Brothers is this: your army is our army. Every model will be something you can be proud to show off. Send us a message on facebook.com/Battle Brothers Studios for a free quote and make that dream project come to life. We also have something special planned for the release of 8th edition of 40K. Right now, get 20% off if you commission us to paint an 8th edition starter set, or get a 10% off Army Bundle bonus for painting up your new 8th edition 40K Army. Inquire with us on Facebook for full details.
You know, when I'm not cracking cold ones, I'm popping paint pots and putting brushstrokes on miniature figurines. And you know darn right that I'm getting my supplies from thewarpainter.com, a hobby store in the Great White North. Thewarpainter.com is Canada's greatest hobby store for all things hard to find. Scale 75, Broken Toad, The Army Painter, and Valet Ho. All supporters of Encounter Wargaming get 10% off their first order with the code EWG10. They got you covered.
We're back. Nick says that we never mix up who does the intros per episode, but I think we don't.
Not for the sections.
But anyways, what we're going to do is, like we said, we're doing Chapter Hiss Rock, which is a good joke. I don't care what anyone says. So we're going to take you through bits and pieces and our favorite parts of Chapter Approved.
So here's the brief agenda. We're going to touch on open play, narrative play, matched play, and just a little faction updates and our thoughts on the point changes. So we'll just go through them in order. It's almost the book in order. Some stuff's a little bit out of place, but just for continuity's sake, I think, for the podcast. So yeah, start with open play.
Yeah, so I think the main thing on open play here is an actual easy way to organize an Apocalypse game without that giant old tome of the Apocalypse thing, where you're like, here are your stratagems, and it was so confusing. You're literally dealing with like a 200-page book. So this is maybe 10 pages on how to organize an Apocalypse game, including like tell people when to show up.
Yeah, bring snacks.
Bring snacks. People get angry.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, Cliff Bars during an Apocalypse game are worth their weight in gold.
So you don't murder somebody?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going hypoglycemic and just take
Dude.
a pocket knife and stab someone.
When it comes to food and tournaments, I am a toddler.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I better eat soon.
Although, did you see their typical one-day schedule for an Apocalypse game in here?
No.
It's like 9 a.m., arrive and deploy. 10, start first session. 1, lunch break. 2, start second session. 5:30, dinner break. 6, start third session. 9 o'clock, end battle.
Nice.
12 hours.
That's amazing.
At least it's realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for, like, 9 a.m.
Yeah, for you.
Hey, I get there plus or minus 15 minutes.
But it even has like a list of things, like a list of players and their contact info. Glue.
Because sometimes you got to break your buddy's fire reactor
Yeah.
in the middle of a game.
Hey, listen, I dumped out an entire Sister of Battle army. I feel like,
It was fair.
yeah.
Then there's also actual missions to play, which is kind of cool.
It is great.
Yeah.
It was great. The just to bring some clarity and give some suggestions. I mean, it for people getting entering into the hobby for the first time, the idea of apocalypse is probably really intimidating.
Yeah.
So to lay out the 4 P's of open play, which is just people, place, a playing area, and a plan.
Yeah.
And then to give some basic scenarios, just releases people to then have fun with it, right?
Yeah, and just having that there, like, for a new hobbyist, an apocalypse game can be something, like, that can be a goal. Like, why am I collecting, like, this, and this? Oh, I'm going to play this apocalypse game. Or, for veteran gamers, like, we've got like, how many armies do we have kicking around? Like, we each have 2, 3 each.
Yeah.
Like, you want to see as many of those models on the table as possible. An apocalypse game is that opportunity.
Well, I get shit whenever I bring my super heavies to a normal game, so.
Yeah, because it's a crazy thing to do. And your super heavy is the crazy one, meant for hunting other super heavies.
It wasn't crazy when I bought it.
No, it wasn't.
These things just happen to me.
It just happened to me. Oh, man.
Cool. And then, so the other thing under this topic is the Land Raider vehicle design rules.
Such a letdown.
Oh, why?
Because we were promised vehicle design rules.
Yeah.
And then all we got was Land Raider design rules, where the currency to buy upgrades is transport capacity. That doesn't even make sense.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, so that's how it kind of was before, right? You take these big things, you need the power cell space, you gotta lose some people.
I get it.
But it should just be, like, just make it straight up points.
Yeah.
Like, just tack all the weapons you want on there.
Or power level.
Yeah, right. Well, same thing.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Potato, patata.
I'm okay with that. But also, they're just Land Raiders.
Yeah.
And when you're spending a ton of money on something that's only usable in open play, and some of the options they have here are pretty terrible. Like one with 2 Flamestorm cannons and 2 heavy flamers. You're like, so this Land Raider has to be within 8 inches to do anything.
Yeah, but then, like, they have the Terminus Ultra, which is a great thing, which is just meant for hunting Titans.
Yeah.
It's like last cannon on top of last cannon with an extra set of last cannons.
But I love this. If you roll but if you're using the Terminus Ultra, which has a lot of last cannon
Yeah,
shots.
it's like,
I'm not gonna...
it's 6, 7, 8.
8 last cannon shots, yeah.
You both tried to count them?
And if you roll 3 or more hit rolls of 1 in one phase, the model immediately suffers 6 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
But you can. I think the Terminus Ultra is actually usable in match play as well. It says open play here, but then I also saw it in the points section. So,
yeah. Anyways, it's because that design's been kicking around forever.
yeah,
The Terminus Ultra, like that's something that I remember from White Dwarf when I was a wee young lad with no beard at all.
but there's some things missing. Like I remember the Land Raider that had the Dozer Blade and the Demolisher Cannon.
Yeah.
That's not in here. The one with the Whirlwind missiles on top.
Well, I guess that's kind of superfluous to add in because you have that sort of in the... Oh, what's the one that the Minotaurs use from Forge World that's got like a Thunderfire in it?
The Achilles.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, that's...
Yeah.
I guess...
Oh, that's more Forge World. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
The just to be clear, did they put design rules and then some suggestions for pre-made ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's
there's
what I
like
thought.
design rules, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pre-made ones for Chaos, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, and Space Wolves.
Yeah. So, one thing that's kind of random is I have a customer inquiring about a commission purely based on some of these Land Raiders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's asking me to paint up this Dark Angel one, which is kind of funny.
They're also 30 power levels, so they ain't cheap.
Also, come on, like this one's called the Solemnus Aggressor. Like, you're naming it. Stop naming things that are already named things. Stop using the same words. Like, come on.
I didn't even think about that.
All right, so we're gonna skip over that and move into narrative play, where we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. One main question. Just because this book, most people think about this book as like, okay, now we know how to move forward with our tournament games.
Yeah.
So the main question for this section is this important to have narrative play and chapter approved? And why should people care about narrative play?
I think for me the narrative play section is the most lush. Like, I think it's, aside from the points cost, like it's it's the one that I would have the most fun with, I think.
I agree. I thought that the narrative play section in the main rulebook was really lacking because it's supposed to be a huge part of the game, and I never felt a draw to play narrative missions straight out of the rulebook, and now I do. And I think the narrative missions here, they bring in the Planet Strike, which we're going to talk about in a bit, and the Stronghold Assault, which were introduced in 6th and 7th edition into 8th edition, which they didn't exist before. So I think narrative play is really important.
Also,
Yeah.
like, we were, before the recording happened, we were saying, like, oh, it's $40 for an FAQ, but also Planet Strike and Stronghold Assault are condensed and snuck in here. So those were, like, $30 or $40 books when they came out in 7th edition.
That's a really good point.
So, like,
Yeah.
it's nice to just see them be like, listen, we're getting you to pay $40 for your updates. Here's some supplemental material that normally we would have just sold you.
No, that's a really good way to look at it.
I didn't think of that
Because you're
before.
right. Yeah. Because you're right. Because Stronghold Assault and Planet Strike used to be, what were they called?
They're
Supplements.
supplements.
Yeah. Which
And
yeah.
you know what's cool? No Death from the Skies in this, because that is a horrible thing.
Why did you have to bring that up?
Because-
we could have just forgotten about it.
I won't. This is Death from the Skies is my equivalent of I walked uphill both ways to school every day.
Only because you had to play me.
That was the worst.
Because I had a Hellblade
Yeah, it's like,
before Death in the Skies came out.
this always happens to him.
So Planet Strike, from a narrative thing, is when one side is attacking a planet and the other side is defending it.
So I think it's super cool.
Oh,
like
super,
that's
yeah.
that's 40K right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you call Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, we gotta get into this planet, and it's not doing it. And Space Marines are like, I know how to do that. I'm really good at it. And I, for one, am looking forward to it. We were talking about with this campaign that we're going to play. I really want Planet Strike to be a big part of it.
You're the attacker, right?
No, I'm an Imperial Fist. I mean, we could do it.
That would be so funny.
It would be like
Just a whole bunch of guys with no vehicles.
just shuffle it on up. But
So here's what they do for it. So they add 2 special rules. The Firestorm rule. So basically the idea here is the planet is constantly being bombarded, right?
Mhm.
So there's markers around the battlefield, and if the enemy's within... actually, is it any units? It may just be, every unit. Okay, so you can hit your own dudes with it, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Within it, they just take mortal wounds, right? So you lay out your points as the attacker. Sorry, your markers as the attacker, and then which is sweet. And then the second one is if you are the attacker as well, basically your whole army can be in reserve in some sense, and you kind of roll to bring your army in as your assault gains strength.
yeah, and there's a cool mention in the choosing your army thing that most of us will just gloss over, and it's the fact that all of the buildings that a defender takes shouldn't count towards the power level of their army.
Yeah. Here's something that I just want you to understand before you agree to the Planet Strike campaign.
Okay.
So infantry units and units that fly start the game in orbit.
That's my airbrush.
Other units start the game in reserves and they come off from the landing zone, right? So you've got a drop zone for vehicles and they're coming on. If a unit arrives from orbit, place it anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 6 inches from an enemy model.
Sure.
Just warning you.
Yeah. But you... All right.
It's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
It gives some... You're playing a narrative play game, right? So you're
Yeah.
not going for a crazy, I'm going to win this tournament, blah, blah, blah. So there's some neat flavor there.
Oh, yeah, because it's going to... I think it encourages the attacker to take more assault-heavy lists, right?
Yeah, and it also kind of mitigates the effectiveness of a gunline list
Yep.
for the defender. So you are kind of busting up that common narrative of attacker-defender games.
And encourages you to hide your units in buildings, which you would want to if you were defending a planet.
Yeah.
So Planet Strike also introduces 2 new detachments, which aren't necessary to play Planet Strike, but they're kind of cool. So they actually give you 5 bonus command points. For the attacker, it's 2 to 3 HQs. Sorry, 2 HQs minimum, 3 elites minimum, and 3 fast attack minimum. And for the defender, it's 2 HQs, 3 troops, and 3 heavy supports. And that is plus 5 command points. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, and there are like cool stratagems for Planet Strike. There's one for the defender where you pay 2 command points, and one of your buildings adds an additional 1 to your saving throws. So if you're someone like me who loves hugging cover and you're in a building, that's brutal.
Yeah. Or there's one for the attacker where it's called the heavy duty drop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's select a unit, any unit for 2 command points. So even if it's not an infantry unit or a unit that can fly, it starts the game in orbit. So it's basically a Thunderhawk transporter dropping down a Falchion or a Land Raider. I'm kidding. Or a Land Raider or something cool, just like dropping it down and
It's
taking off.
That is going to get called Operation Dumbo Drop. You know it.
Yep.
That's so yeah. Like just
Since we're on the topic of stratagems, I'll point out my favorite,
Okay.
which is the laser burn. So basically, some ship in orbit is just like and hits the ground with some giant laser, and you pick 2 of your firestorm points, which are where you're bombarding, and you draw a line between them, and just everything that's in that line.
that's so
Yes.
rude.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's brutal.
Yeah. The foxholes, fortified stronghold. No, this will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I see this as being like the opening to a campaign, and then depending on how that goes for the defenders, you go into either like a really desperate sort of basically whoever succeeds gains the upper hand, and then the attacker or defender goes into like this guerrilla sort of force, rather than being like having a good beachhead.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
so that's Planet Strike. Stronghold Assault. The special rules there are kind of neat. So you have to have buildings, and then they add 5 special rules in here, which is big guns never tire. So the attacker can move and shoot heavy weapons without penalty, which is crazy. Demolitions, so it's just, you can kill buildings and stuff. Hold at all costs, so there's just bonus leadership within range of fortifications. Deadly defenses, so you're just easier to kill buildings again for the...
Easier buildings add 1 to their hit rolls.
There you go, right, so your buildings get better at killing stuff, because which is crazy, because some of those guns are like 20 shots that normally hit on 5s, all of a sudden hit on 4, like so good, right? And then captured fortifications. So you can capture the enemy buildings as your assault gains momentum, which is neat. So let's talk about our favorite parts of Stronghold Assault, since we talked about our favorite parts of Planet Strike.
I didn't look at Stronghold Assault.
Oops.
Yeah, Stronghold Assault never actually spoke to me.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, you're going to have to, because there's a good chance that we're going to be playing a couple of missions after you land on the planet.
Oh no, the campaign's all here for Planet Strike.
Yeah. We're going to mess with it a bit.
Okay, fine.
So here's something I actually noticed for a bunch of the scenarios in here. If you look at some of the layouts for the missions, they actually kind of recommend terrain placements and stuff too.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So they lay out your buildings to kind of balance it out, so people can't do... I mean, you can. These obviously aren't set in stone, but they give you just basic layouts of like, this is what it could look like.
Mm-hmm.
Give you suggestions. So you can't do like silly things with your deployment or something.
Yeah, like, you're...
Well, the missions specifically say the defender creates the battlefield.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, as with everything, don't be rude, don't be mean. Yeah, play another person.
Yeah.
Be it.
Like you're not going to do something like you should lay out the battlefield in a way that like real people would have actually built that.
Yeah, it also says that the attacker's army should have more power level or points than the defender's army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But at the same time, the rules of, like, you getting the bonuses of being at a lower power level would still come to bear.
If it's there in the missions.
So, the other couple things that were in narrative play were they updated and included the terrain rules for all the neat GW prepackaged terrain, which is
And
great.
and the campaign outline.
And campaign outlines.
Yeah, which is awesome.
And then they added this thing called Battle Zones, and Empiric Storms. So, what is this?
Explain this to me.
Yeah. So, Battle Zones are basically if you are fighting on some kind of...
They had these in the main rulebook.
Yeah.
They just had the city fight one, I think.
That's right. So they added a couple more, and they're like themed, basically themed battlefields. So you're playing on like an alien infested, like a crazy alien forest where like all the trees are like alive or something.
Cool.
So and they just add special rules for that. And the Empiric Storms are just like crazy weird warp things are happening, and they give you cool cards to draw the effect of the warp that turn on.
Then there's
your environment.
There's industrial worlds as well,
Mm-hmm.
which adds a whole bunch of new stratagems like grappling hooks, siphon, promethium, supercharged obliteration.
What does supercharged obliteration do, Nicholas?
Remember the plasma obliterator tower?
Mm-hmm.
If you have that, and it's within 6 inches of a hemotrope reactor, because for some reason these reactors run on blood, you spend 1 command point, and the plasma obliterator can fire again.
It's such a stern-looking eagle with such a big gun.
Yeah. But I really like the Empiric Storm. Like, it just looks like so much fun. Like, there's one that's just like, roll a dice for each Psyker on the battlefield. On a 4+, that model immediately suffers a wound. or for an entire term, Psykers can't suffer perils of the warp.
There you go. So just crazy stuff in the warp is happening. We had this come out in the Cadia campaign thing.
Yes,
What
we
was it called?
did, yeah.
And so now they're making it relevant for 8th edition, which is very nice of them to do for us, especially for narrative stuff.
Or like if you roll double sixes,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like the D66 model for the table, players roll off, and whoever wins adds one of the following to their army and sets it up anywhere in the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from an enemy model. Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster. Lord of Change. Great and Clean One or Keeper of Secrets.
Oh, nuts.
So go out and buy all 4, because you should always have one on hand, just in case you
I
roll
don't
it.
think so. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone's got a bloodthirster kicking around, don't they?
Somewhere.
I know one person who has, 10?
At least 4.
Paul Carvanis.
He's got at least 4.
Yeah.
What a brilliant human.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
So,
Should we take a quick break and then come back on match play?
just going to suggest that, Adam.
Nice.
Cool.
Oh, that was wonderful, Michael Winslow. So I'm drinking Thornbury Village pickup number 26 Pilsner. Yeah, it's a Pilsner. It's a lot of writing here. Czech yeast, Bohemian malts. It's Pilsner.
So they've actually, Thornbury, I'm very impressed. So you've actually had 2 beers by Thornbury, right?
No, the first one was Royal City.
Oh, okay. So, well, anyways, on this point, Thornbury has done a good job marketing the fact that they actually make beer.
Have they? I had no idea.
Because it says our craft cider and brew house is just off Highway 26.
Yeah, they actually do. And they have like 4 at the beer store at Dufferin Mall that I just walked in and noticed the other day.
Okay.
I was like, this is cool. I didn't know they make beer.
Man, I haven't been to...
Oh, it's Thornbury cider, but they make beer. I get it now.
Yeah.
Are you new?
I don't drink cider.
Okay, fair enough.
Who does? No.
Yeah.
So I was a celiac.
Well, fair
Yes,
enough.
Which Emily's dad is, so
Yeah.
he drinks lots of cider.
I went to a cider bar on a date once, and it was the
Tart?
worst.
Going on Roncesvalles?
No, it was on Harvard, and I mean the date was fine. It was just that
The place was
the drinks were just all ciders.
like, tastes like pee.
No,
I need a really dry cider, like almost like a white wine, super dry cider. That's what I like.
I just drink white wine.
I don't like white wine; it's too sweet.
Hard to please.
oh my god.
So, anyways, now that we're back from our little break, let's talk about some matched play, which for most people, this was the focus of this book. But I hope that we've made the case that the rest of the book is relevant and has value and can actually be lots of fun.
Definitely.
So don't shy away from it, and don't say that part is the part that's the waste of money, and only beeline for the match play. So that being said, let's talk about match play, because it is still really cool. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So some just brief highlights. This is a thing that never came up, but was understrength units, and they
Yeah.
it was like, this doesn't make sense to me, so we're just never going to do this.
Yeah, like, because you read the rules for understrength units, and you're like, why wouldn't everyone do this? That can't be right. I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's just...
So understrength units is, for example, you had a unit of 5 Terminators, but you only wanted to take 3.
Yeah.
So you could just pay the points for 3, even though the unit says you have to have a minimum of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they nerfed that and said it's an auxiliary detachment, so it's -1 command point every time you take one of those, which is nice. They changed the character targeting rules. Let's talk about that real quick.
This bugs me.
It bugs me too, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, people were gaming the system with the old rules," and it's like, people are going to game the system with the new rules.
Even worse.
I don't see enough of a change.
Well, it just, like, for me, it eliminates a narrative part where it's like, you've got a sniper and he's got, like, a firing lane. He sees a dude in a big hat.
Yeah.
He sees, like, a Tau dude in a shiny robe. He's like, I'm going to put a bullet in that guy's dome. But now it's like, he looks important. I won't do that. That would be unsporting.
Yep.
That's not what my dudes would do.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so I never understood that, because people were saying, oh, people were using their own vehicles to block line of sight to other units so that the character was the only one in line of sight. And you're like, yeah, that's part of the game.
Let me target a character on a leadership role or something. Just let me do it. Let me do it. I want to shoot him. I want to put a gun and then bang.
So here's the exact change, just to be clear on this. This character with less than 10 wounds can only be targeted.
This has already been changed, by the way.
Oh, did they?
In an FAQ.
Great.
Because it says less than 10 wounds, so they were like, if Mortarion is at 9 wounds, then he can't be targeted.
Oh, because they had to clarify that.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have to clarify that. That's just people being
People
pedantic.
being jerks. Yeah. Anyways, so visible.
He gets smaller.
I'm shrinking!
You're such a prick. Oh, man. So visible and closest, and so that was the big change. Was the visible, right?
Yeah. Because it used to be visible, now it's closest. Mm-hmm. Which means that even if you have a character who's behind a wall that you can't see and is just going to hide behind that wall, and the only thing you can see is Gilliman, and you've got, I don't know,
A scout?
yeah, if you've got a scout hiding 30 inches away from you, you can't fire Gilliman 31 inches away from you.
Even though he's the only thing you can see.
Even though he's the only thing you can see.
Yeah, it's the unit that's closer that's totally invisible.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the key change, right? And so that obviously is like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
So now the gaming is going to be in reverse, right? Instead of people figuring out a way to make a firing lane to make the character the only visible target to the unit they want to shoot, now scouts are going to be huge.
Yeah.
I mean, those sites of units.
Yeah,
So
infiltrate it up, hide them, and then your character army is viable.
I will say, while it doesn't make sense to me, it's not a huge change, and I don't think it's going to make that big of an impact in the game. It's just weird, and I didn't think it was necessary.
Yeah.
There's other things that needed to be fixed.
It's arbitrary in a game of arbitrary things.
Could you be less specific? Here we go.
The Beast!
Hello.
Unleash the Beast!
So I asked Paul if he would share this with me because it literally is a beast.
Yep.
I had 2 of these at Henderson's last time, and I literally had a hangover at like 11 p.m. Like it didn't wait till the next day.
Because you don't drink to excess much.
No, exactly.
Like,
What's this at, like 8 or 9%?
11.
Oh, God. It's almost barley wine.
Dude, this thing, but it's so good. Like,
It
the
is
flavor
good.
in this is amazing. Here we go. I'll just read the name of it. You don't need any description. It's a bourbon barrel aged imperial amber ale.
Yeah, it's for kicking people in the mouth.
Give me your glass.
Okay.
All right. Somebody carry this podcast while I pour this beast.
All right, so the next thing that came up that made sense to me, and I'm also noticing that the ITC has a lot of influence on Games Workshop nowadays, which is both a good and a bad thing.
I'm
because
wondering if they're just not being used as a testing ground.
they are being used as a testing ground, but I think my point is that the ITC people are great playtesters, but they're not the majority of players, but they have the largest voice when it comes to rules changes. Well, the targeting characters is the one that comes to mind. This one's good, though. So this specifically says that the command reroll stratagem, which means you can reroll a dice, you can't use them to affect mission dice rolls. So basically, you can't use the command reroll stratagem before the battle begins. So deployment zones, first turn, seize the initiative, and you can't do them after the game ends, which includes end of battle rounds and things like random victory points on a Maelstrom card. So if Maelstrom card is D3 plus 3 objectives, and you roll a 1, you can't spend a command point to reroll that.
Mm-hmm. And there's certain new match play missions in here, which we'll touch on, that have mission rolls that happen in the middle of the game. And they're called mission rolls, so
Right.
that you know for the future. Yeah. So that was sweet to clarify, because it was kind of weird, right? I'm going to reroll seize the initiative because I have 12 command points, so I don't care.
Yeah,
You know?
and it's also just like, I'm gonna try and have better luck on like random things that aren't supposed to be affected by those sorts of things. Like, you can't command point, like, if you think about command points, it's like, you know, giving aid from your general. And you can't be like, well, find a better thing. Like,
Yeah,
you know? Like, oh, we found this, like, technology. Is it good? It's like, no, it's not very good. And then the commander's like, look again.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it is.
Oh, we got here first.
Yeah.
And then the last final thing to touch on is boots on the ground, which again, I think this was addressed in an FAQ, or if it wasn't, we used it kind of in our game thing, which was that a flyer can never control an objective marker. Although I will say that they didn't include if you only have flyers left, you lose the game.
Yeah, because that's a bit extreme.
Yeah, so
It is a bit extreme.
The I agree, but when the meta for a bit was 5 Storm Ravens just zooming around the board, messing people up.
Now you just take 2 units of scouts that you hide for the rest of the game.
Yep, exactly. So flyers can't claim objectives. Can I have a little sippy there?
Yeah, you can try the beast. It's,
I love that smell.
oh, buddy.
It's just, I mean, it's expensive too.
Yes.
And my dad stayed over the weekend, so he
Oh.
got he got a couple beers. Like, there's no way I could have bought that for myself.
$15?
Yeah, 15, 16 bucks.
Red beer, yeah.
Yeah, for 1 pint. It's like, ooh, jeez.
Oh, no, that's
Is it more than that? $7.50?
$6.50.
$6. Okay, yeah.
Still,
What the hell size bottle is $6.50?
I don't know.
All right, so now let's talk about. Okay, so let's clarify something here, which is interesting, and I'd love to chat about this for a minute.
Sure.
The +1 to first turn roll, if you finish deploying first, is only in these missions.
Yeah.
So, how do we feel about this? Should it be imported into the rulebook missions or not? And will you still play rulebook missions if that's the case or not? And let's talk about that.
I've been doing the +1 to first turn roll. Like, that's sort of how I've been playing my games.
Okay. Just kind of the tournaments got hold of this +1 thing, and you were just like, all right,
Oh, well,
I'm on
fine.
board. And
I really like it. I think I wasn't a big fan of it at first because it really gave a lot of advantage to guard armies and horde armies and the big armies that can just nuke you with tons of firepower, where, you know, a small elite Space Marine army should go first,
Mm-hmm.
right? But at the same time, after playing a couple games, you don't know who's going first until after everybody's deployed, and then you roll. So even if you are in the position where you have an army that can like really outshoot somebody first turn, you don't want to risk not going first and place all of your units in a position where they're going to get screwed first turn, right?
Yep.
So you think that the because I think the issue is when two elite armies face each other, right? Which is why after a time you were like, okay, no, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? We should have the +1 as opposed to the automatic. Because when two elite armies go against each other, the effect that going first has is way more powerful than it is with that elite army going first against a guard army.
Right.
Yeah.
But now even with the +1, that elite army, even if I'm playing you and you're playing your Luna Wolves and you have 10 drops and I have 9, even if I know I'm going to deploy first and go first, I'm not going to put everything up on the line in place to, nuke 3 units in my first turn, because the +1, if you roll a 6 and I roll a 1, okay, now I'm at a 2, you're still at a 6, now you've gone first, and all the units that I've put out in front,
open, yeah.
you can just take on. Because the +1 is just enough to make people, a little bit more aggressive.
Make some life choices.
Yeah.
But not enough to make them
Overextend themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whereas you found the going first guaranteed, you were like, all right, I can
with
overextend.
C's, so not completely guaranteed, but yeah, almost.
Well, and that's also too when people were re-rolling C's with command
Yes.
points, right?
Once you got seized on, though, when you thought you were going first automatically, some people would get seized on a bunch and be really salty about it.
So maybe this is how we conclude this: is having big swings in games is never fun, so they tried to even keel it a little bit. Is this what we're saying?
Yeah, and I feel like with the +1, you're never trying to chase that down. You're never like, well, if I stuff this character in this rhino, then that puts me at one less drop.
I still think you are, though, a little bit.
But not in the same sort of way.
No, definitely not.
But
you're still building your list around drops. Mm-hmm. Right?
I'm not.
I've never built my list around drops, not gonna lie.
Because I'm not going... my army is such that I'm not huge. I don't have a ton of drops, but I don't have, a crazy small amount of drops, so I don't really worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said this a while ago in a previous podcast in our first season, where I actually spent most of my time going second in a lot of games because I had a lot of drops, and I actually found that I kind of liked it.
Well, for your Primaris army, because you're medium range, right?
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
my range.
Yeah, my army's very long range, so I like to go first. But both of your armies are very medium range, 24 to 30 inches.
Oh, that's a bad place to be if you're facing me.
It is. Hell blasters and storm cannons and all that crap going on. So going second is good. Well, it's Battlefield Gothic is what I've been playing with, so that's in my head. I like to go second in Battlefield Gothic because when you start, because the ranges are so far apart that you want people to come towards you. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you can move up and then not have anything in range. Then they move up.
Everything's in range.
Or no, nothing's in range yet.
Yeah.
Then you move up and nothing's in range. Then they move up and their stuff's in range.
Yeah. What is the order called where you burn your engines and you don't go anywhere?
Burn retros.
Burn retros. Yeah. just if you go first, you just burn retros and make them.
Yeah. We're not moving.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, cool. So that was a good discussion. That's what I wanted to get out of there. I thought it was neat for a while to play that way. But I think to balance the game and to reduce the feel badsies, having +1 is probably the better way to go.
And you know what? You have, it's one of those things where even if the rulebook mission says whoever drops first goes first, you have that conversation with your opponent. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody in our gaming group would be like, no, drop first goes first. Yeah, I think everyone sees the value in this.
Well, or you might say no, drop first goes first, but it's still a conversation that you can have, and no one's going to be crazy about it.
Very true.
Yep. So it's interesting that they didn't say for all missions. I think after we've played a bunch of these new missions, we're going to kind of decide that they're much better than the rulebook missions.
I haven't played a single one yet,
dude. But are we talking about the missions now? Are we doing that?
Yeah, sure. Let's use this as a segue to go there.
Bam! Springboard. The Ascension. What a cool mission idea. This represents, for me, a Chaos Lord just like getting all weird and tentacle-y with his like patron gods, or like, you know, an Eldar spirit seer just like gorging himself on spirit stones or whatever they do.
Drawing power from like a warp rift or something. Right?
Yeah, or just like an orc getting amped on other orc stuff.
Or just standing there with a flag and being like, "You shall not pass."
Yeah,
Just wogging like crazy.
oh, wogging
just
all
having a
over
wog
the place, just wogging right in people's faces.
Oh.
So it has this rule called Ascend, where if a character is on a objective, they gain a point. If they're on it for a consecutive round after that, they get that many points again.
2 points.
So, 2 points.
3
then
points.
3 points. So on.
So
and
if you're
so forth.
so if you're on it for 3 turns, you're at 6 points.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
and
really
like
cool.
you know, he's getting powerful. She's like seeing the future, talking to demons.
It's like 10 episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
It's like 10 episodes of Dragon Ball Z. The guy says.
And this is 3 objectives. So the first objective is in the center of the battlefield, and then there are other 2 objectives that are 18 inches from the center.
Oh, do they assign exactly where they are in that one?
So the players each set 1 more objective marker. These can be placed anywhere on the battlefield so long as the center of the marker is exactly 18 inches away from the center of the battlefield.
Oh, okay.
12 inches from both players' deployment zone, and more than 12 inches from the center of any other objective marker.
Okay.
So I think it's basically along the line in the middle.
Yeah, they give you a narrow band. You get a choice, but it's
Yeah.
a pretty narrow band
Yeah.
to choose from. Yeah.
Also, guys, why use the word? You can set it up anywhere except.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, like for
You're gonna
me,
say it somehow, right?
yeah. For me, this is like one of the coolest. This is like the end of all of the Dawn of War video games. This is, you know, your end of an Avengers movie where there's a blue light shooting up into the sky and there's a portal that everyone needs to close. Probably.
Yeah.
I bet that's what they're like. I haven't seen any of the Avenger movies except for Thor.
Oh, you gotta see the new Thor.
Yeah,
New Thor is super good.
I'll go
I
see
heard
it.
it was really good.
It's really good. It's so fun.
Did you guys see the new Star Wars?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
I thought it was really good.
I had a guy ruin a part in a bar. Like it's a friend of mine's. Like it's a guy she's seeing.
Did you get in a bar fight?
I almost did.
Yeah.
I
like-
like parts of it. I didn't like other parts.
That's okay. That's everything.
Yeah.
I thought it was. It's probably in one of my. It's probably in the top. One of the top 3 Star Wars for me.
And you're getting more and more to choose from.
That's fair, because, I mean, there's only, right now, 5 to choose from.
You just write off the other ones. Well done.
Yes.
Well played, sir. Well
We
played.
definitely write off the other ones.
The prequels bring something to the table.
No,
so-
they don't.
Yes, they do.
No.
Why'd she die? She just gave up. You have nothing to live for. You just had 2 babies. Like that's the thing that gets me every time. It's like she died of a broken heart. You got 2 kids, lady. Like
Yeah. It's a lot of love to give.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't just be like, you can't be so sad you die, like instantly.
Oh, that's the Force, man.
Force
is
oh,
fickle.
you know what? No one ever brings that up. Maybe
Force is
Force-
fickle, yeah.
yeah, forced suicide. Oh, I'm
So
sad now.
I like the Eternal War mission, dominate and destroy.
Of course you do.
Okay. So, first, the victory conditions, it's a standard mission. So the first victory conditions is dominate the battlefield. So you score 1 victory point at the end of each of your turns for each objective marker controlled. I can't speak right now. That's fine. There's 6 objectives on the table as well. So that's cool. End of the turn, get a point for holding an objective. That's fun. Second part is 1 victory point for each enemy unit that's destroyed. So you got both. You have to hold objectives and destroy the units. You got Slay the Warlord, First Blood, and Line Breaker in there as well. I think that's a really balanced kill and take and hold.
Yeah, so I think you'll see a lot of people just picking one side or the other of that. Like, depending on your army, it's like, I'm going to hold on to this, and obviously you're going to try to kill stuff, but then you'll see other people just being like, well, you know what, let's just go wholesale slaughter and just...
I mean, for Nick's army, he's going to get a couple objectives in his deployment zone, sit his last cannons on it, and they just sit there doing that and killing things.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I mean...
exactly. And you're gonna do the same thing with the Hell
same.
Blasters.
Yeah. One of my favorite ones, which I think is super dynamic, and this is the problem with the Eternal War missions previous, is that they just weren't this dynamic, and I think we've already seen a couple great examples. And so this was my favorite one, which was resupply drop. And so the idea is there's 6 objectives on the battlefield, and there are essentially 6 potential zones for a ship to come by and drop some important equipment for your army, or whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. And so at turn 3, the person whose turn it is next picks 3 objectives, and then rolls a dice and randomizes which ones the drop for their army.
That's so good.
And then the player whose turn it is next, again, randomizes the remaining 3, and sees where the supply drop is for their army, and then you have to fight out for those objectives after.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and so it's like in tournament environments where it's like a timed limit, and you it's like, do we ever make it to turn 3, turn 4? It's one of my big beefs with tournaments is it's so focused on Alpha Strike, but this is like let's do a competitive game where turn 3 and late game is what matters,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
it's a great way to do it. So very fun, very dynamic, and it's a total surprise,
Yeah, like it'll be a great example of like everyone's got a plan until they get hit. That one sounds really fun.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to try it.
And the last one I want to talk about is Scorched Earth, which is kind of fun. So this is 6 objective markers, and you score a victory point at the end of each of your turns if you control the objective marker. However, if an objective marker is within the enemy's deployment zone, when you control it, you can choose to destroy it.
Raise it to the ground.
And you immediately gain D3 victory points, and then it's removed from the battlefield.
I love those.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Like, that's what... It's like they're backdooring narrative stuff into these missions.
They definitely are.
They're like, these are competitive play missions. Also, there's a story. Like...
So I have to give a shout out to the Maelstrom missions. So my favorite Maelstrom one is, because I actually really like Maelstrom, especially with the balanced out Maelstrom cards.
Yes,
they're a lot better than they used to be. Is the Gambit. So before your turn starts, you say how many objectives you're going to get this turn, like how many of the cards you're going to complete, and if you complete that many, then you get that many extra bonus points.
Oh,
but if you don't, your opponent gets those points.
Whoa.
Which is really cool.
And lends itself to a drinking game.
Oh, snap. I don't condone drinking games, but, if you're into that.
So, I really liked Sealed Orders.
Yes.
So, this is one that comes with its own specific mission stratagem, which is acceptable losses.
Sounds like my kind of party.
So, it's 1 command point. You use a stratagem at the end of your turn, and you discard up to 3 of your active tactical objectives, which is really important for this mission, because at the start of your first turn, each player generates 6 objectives.
Mm-hmm.
You can only discard 1 at the end of your turn. You have to complete the rest of them. You don't generate any more until they're all out of your hand, and then you generate 5. So you have to get rid of all 6. Then you get 5. Then you have to get rid of all 5.
It's like Crazy Eights, right? Like,
sure. Then you get 4. I forget how to play Crazy Eights.
Yeah, man. So you start with 8 cards, and when you get rid of all your cards, then you start with 7. Then you get rid of all your cards, and you start with 6.
Yeah. You want to hear a really funny aside? You guys know Bridge?
I do know.
You do know Bridge?
Well, like a little bit.
Because my mom and her partner are learning it, and they go to Bridge lessons every Saturday for 3 hours. I'm like, Mom, just play Warhammer. It's easier.
It's easier. Maybe more expensive.
Because there's people. She said she'll go to a place. It's called supervised play. There'll be 30, 40 people there on a Saturday morning. They pay money to go into these places. They play bridge game with open hands. And there's people who are paid to walk around and help you learn to play the game. So you're playing a normal game, and they'll be like, oh, I have a question. Or they'll like look at your hand and be like, oh, okay, you can do this because this might happen. And I was like, wow.
How do you get that job? How do you get that job?
To help old retired people learn how to play bridge? It's
amazing. Walking around in a straw hat, I bet?
if you just wait 30 years, you can get that job as like the coach for all the
Or just
like
get,
retired Warhammer players.
That's what I'm doing.
or just get 5 boxes of Touch of Grey and comb it into the beard.
I'll give it a minute.
All right, so we did Maelstrom, we did Eternal War. I actually, so right after this section, because this is so focused on objectives, they inserted this little bit on like how to custom make your own objectives for your army.
Yeah, they're super cool.
They are really cool.
Like the Necron ones are just the guys from the Ghost Ark.
Yeah, that's a cool thing.
Yeah, just like immobile, like dead Necron.
It's just bits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know what? That's it's kind of like a throwback for me because I feel like GW hasn't emphasized this for a while because they're like, buy the kits that you can buy, right? And they're like, here's a little conversion bit that's fun and interesting.
Yeah, if you don't want to do that, here's this.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Like the Chaos ones are kind of cool.
yeah.
The well, those are the ones from the actual kit that you have to buy. The Tyranid ones are just bits.
Yeah, goo.
Goo. The Dark Eldar ones are just bits. They're awesome. Anybody can make these. Super fun. I mean, we did just buy objective markers for every single club member. If you are a member of the club and you haven't got your Christmas present yet, you can holler at me and I will get you your Christmas present.
Yeah.
Cool. And then the last section on the last page is just faction updates. So there's been some for armies that don't have a codex.
Awesome.
It is awesome. For armies that don't have a codex, they gave them some relics, some stratagems, and some warlord traits, and then changed the points a little bit. So let's focus on the faction updates for armies that don't have codexes and talk about what we like there. If you play one of those armies, let's talk about kind of some changes that happened. And,
Veil of Darkness is back, baby!
yeah!
So this is for Necrons.
Yeah, it's my favorite relic that I've ever had. Every army that I've ever played my Necrons has it. I've got a conversion for it. And it functions essentially the same. You take a guy, a character, you give him this, a unit within 3 inches and him are redeployed away 9 inches away from someone. They all have to be within 6 inches of the bearer, and they're just redeployed.
Yeah.
It is such a fun relic.
It's once per battle.
Once per battle,
But
as
still,
it
that's
should
a
be.
game changer. If
It's-
that's 20 Necron warriors, you're like, we're over here, sucker.
Yeah, like, it is pairing that with the Deceiver's Grand Illusion, where you roll D3 and you can redeploy that many units.
At the beginning of the game?
Yeah, the beginning
Oh,
of the
wow,
game.
yeah.
So,
You
like,
love redeploy stuff.
I do love redeploy. I love getting in people's heads and making a slow army fast.
Yeah.
Like, that
Yeah,
is
that's
a ton of fun.
fair.
I think that it's something that is going to serve the Necron army really well. I can't wait to bust it out. That might be the first game that I play, like, in 2018.
We should do Orcs versus Necrons.
Yeah,
Just let's completely go outside of the box.
let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah, it'll be fun. My stuff's not painted yet, but it'll still be fun.
Yeah.
I also love the Necron Warlord trait.
Oh man, I didn't even look at that. I was too pumped up on Veil of Darkness.
So enduring will reduce any damage inflicted on your Warlord by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Quantum shielding for a warlord. It is like, honestly, it's awesome because the Overlord is kind of squishy. Like, he can get pasted by any character in any other army pretty easily, and this sort of mitigates like your high damage character killing things.
Yeah, well, Power Fist is now D3 minus 1.
Yeah.
Chain Fist is now just 1.
Yeah, it's
Thunderhammer is 2, right? So
it's really
pretty
cool.
good. I mean, honestly, especially for a Necron character, I think it's like better than, because the only other one from the main rulebook, because we always forget that the main rulebook has Warlord traits, was just ignore wounds on a 6. This is better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely
And you got
better.
two stratagems.
Yeah, and like one is kind of lackluster, where it's like reroll 1s on your reanimation protocols.
That should be 1 command point.
Yeah.
2 command points is a bit much.
Especially
Way too
considering that you can reroll you can just roll it again with a Resor.
Yeah.
Like,
This,
sure,
this gives you some flexibility, right?
yeah, it is cool if you have like,
Oh,
if you,
they shot your Ghost Ark down, or I don't know.
or you've redeployed away from all your Resorbs.
Your Veil of Darkness
Yeah.
warriors?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, it has its uses, but it's replicating functionality that already exists in the army, which is kind of a... It's good, and it stays on theme, but it's just sort of, like, samey.
Yeah.
And then,
especially when you don't have a codex and you don't have, like, 30 to choose from.
Right.
It's just like, this is my one stratagem, right?
then the other one is kind of brutal, which is giving reanimation protocols to anything with the canoptic.
So wraiths have reanimation protocols.
Yeah, so, like, that is dirty at like... there are clutch moments when your wraiths are about to die. You can bust this out. If they're near a res orb, you can burn that to, like, re-roll those. So it's worth it, considering that they have 3 wounds and a 3 up.
Yeah, I love it that it gives them reanimation protocols, not that it lets them make a roll, because you have so many buffs to reanimation protocols, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they would gain all of that, too, which is really cool.
So it's... But it is, like, very tactical. It's very situational. And it replicates one of the big formations from 7th edition that people liked. So,
Yeah.
I'm into it. I like it. And I'm going to be taking Veil of Darkness on everything.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And this is only to hold us over for a few months until the Necrons do get a codex,
Yep.
which they will.
Oh, yeah, everyone's getting a codex.
But I thought it was just so polite of them to throw this in there.
Oh, this is a cool little thing.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me... So for anybody out... Did I talk about this in the podcast yet? I have a giant orc army now.
Again.
I am super stoked for that. About a year ago, I traded my I traded my orc army for a Death Watch army, and now the guy I'm trading with is trading me back on the condition that I paint all the Death Watch stuff. So he gets a fully painted army, and I get a giant orc army.
Yeah, you get your orc army plus new things.
Plus 6 war buggies, another Daka jet, 2 battle wagons, like 30 commandos, storm boys.
Basically, he put his orc army in, like, a TFSA.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. So I haven't even opened the box since Phil gave it to me.
Nice.
That's going to be
Nice.
probably...
Oh, can I mention part of my hobby desk progress, which isn't for me but was a commission, was 40 orc storm boys.
Nice.
That I basically painted in 72 hours while I listened to modern philosophy lectures. So it's so much fun.
There you go, you nerd.
Yeah.
So orcs have a new warlord trait called Might is Right, which is just add +1 strength.
It would be called that.
Which is pretty cool, because now you're talking an orc war boss having a strength 14 power fist.
Yeah, that's necessary. 14 is definitely...
Actually, it is the tipping point to winning most vehicles on 2s.
Yeah.
Rather than 3s.
It's brutal.
Yeah, that's good.
So the relic is Head Wappa's Kill Choppa.
Give it to me again.
Head Wappa's Kill Choppa.
Sure.
So this is what my war boss is going to be armed with. It's +2 strength, AP -2, D3 damage, but any to wound rolls of 6 or more, because of weird modifiers, inflict D3 mortal wounds. So you've got a war boss with 5 attacks at strength 9, hitting on 2s because he's a war boss. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Why are you
And then
with
if
this?
you put a WOG banner next to him, the mortal wounds thing goes off on the 5s because it's +1 to. Wait, no,
+1 to hit.
+1 to hit, not +1 to wound. I lied.
Yeah.
Why are you lying to
I
us?
see.
Yeah, still.
Still good.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I mean, the more hits you get,
Yeah.
the more wounds you get.
Yeah. Also, it's a power fist that isn't unwieldy, which is pretty awesome. And
There you
then
go.
2 stratagems. One is from 3rd edition. The mob up rule. This used to be a rule for orcs in 3rd edition. So if you have 2 orc units next to each other, one of them, they have to be the same data slate. So orc boys, storm boys, commandos, whatever. If one of the units has 10 or more models and the other has 10 or fewer, the 2 units merge for 1 command point.
I just see the orcs be like, "Oi, boys, you got shot up real good. Join us over here. Let's go walking again."
Let's go
And
wogging.
because orcs, their leadership value is the number of models in their unit, this is huge.
Yeah, leadership 40.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because the thing maxes out at 10.
Go wogging.
And then the next one is kind of like the, I think the Sternguard one. It's just Daka Daka Daka. and it's every time an orc infantry unit or biker unit shoots, every hit roll of 6 up, you immediately make an extra attack using the same weapon.
Yeah, that's the Imperial Fist one.
But when you're hitting on 5s, it's... I mean, I guess, like, a unit of 20 shooter-boys is putting out at least 40 shots.
Well, here's the thing, though.
That's a lot of shots.
Mm-hmm. That's what 5.
If you're
6s?
hitting on 5s, then 50% of your hits are generating more hits.
Well,
Like-
is it another hit or another shot?
Another shot, not another hit.
Another shot.
Yeah.
Is it 1 command point?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1. That's pennies. The
Also, it's super easy to fill out a brigade.
Yeah,
with
so you're
orcs.
going to have buckets of command points.
Yeah. I already built a brigade list, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Go away.
It's a fun list. It's not. It's orcs are fun.
cool.
Chaos, you got to be sneaky and kind of a dick to win with them.
So let me talk about sisters. You're good on the orcs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, sweet. So sisters, because obviously, so I play sisters and marines right now. So sisters got a new relic, which is the blade of admonition, which is a previous relic from before. So more strength, more AP, more damage, which is great. Otherwise, previously with the index, you had to take an eviscerator. It was kind of the best combat weapon at the time.
Yeah.
Which did get a points decrease, which we'll talk about in a second, but. Yeah, it's just great and fluffy to have this one back, which is nice. Because we'll probably not get a codex. So
You get a codex.
we'll see.
It'll probably be like Imperial Agents again.
We'll see. Warlord trait is reroll failed morale. Meh. Stratagems, martyrdom. This is the cool one.
Wait, the Warlord traits reroll failed morale?
Yeah.
For the Warlord?
No, like units within a distance of them.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Nah, not really. Not really. If you're gonna take, not really. Because you don't take big units of sisters, so you don't. If you're losing some, you're losing the whole unit.
That's fair.
Yeah. So martyrdom. This is the coolest stratagem, and this is a big throwback to 3rd edition sisters when they've always had a PDF codex. So when they had, this is when I first started playing sisters, so it's a big throwback for me. So it used to be when you lost a character, you got more faith points to use, and
Right.
your points was like your currency to do cool things.
To do your acts of faith.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's when a character dies, you essentially do your army-wide act of faith again. So on a 2+,
nuts.
a unit does an act of faith.
Any character.
Yes, any character dies.
This is a stratagem?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 1 command point. So
That's really good.
yeah, fluffy. It's a good throwback, and it's
But
powerful.
You can't make penitent engines.
No, still doesn't work on penitent.
Still doesn't work on
I still can't. I still can't cheat.
Yeah, it's not really written that you can't cheat, though.
Right?
Show me in the rules where it says don't cheat.
Yeah. So I guess I'll cheat whenever I want.
Yeah, sure.
And then the other one is a good ad for sisters because it's fluffy, so I like that they put this in here, and it's kind of a makeup in a way because all of their units get deny the witch
On one
dice.
Yeah.
But that's totally useless. Like you're only denying a smite that the person managed to roll a 5 on 2d6, which like totally never happens, and then you have to roll the 6. Right, so it's impossible and it never happens.
Better than nothing. Well, it's not impossible. Impossible is not getting a deny the witch in the first place.
Yeah, right. So here we go. This one's Purity of Faith. For 1 command point, you deny a psychic power and a 4+, which is way better than...
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, that's
It's
a
cool,
really
it's
good one.
fluffy.
Is it any unit or character or...
It's an Adeptus Sororitas unit.
Within...
24 inches of a psyker.
That's really cool.
So
It's a 50-50 of denying any psychic power.
Yeah, which totally... The intention of them being like witch hunters and kind of having this psychic null thing comes back into play. Whereas they kind of put that deny the witch on 1 dice. They kind of put that in there as like a fluffy thing.
Yeah.
It's totally useless.
Mm-hmm.
Now they kind of give them something that actually works, right? So thank you for that, GW.
So I'm going to touch on a faction that I absolutely love, and if I had the funds and the time, I would start this army.
Ooh.
The Gene Stealer cults.
Okay.
So they were really hurt.
Look at Paul's face.
Paul had a bad experience with them at Astro.
No. Anyways, go on.
So they lost a couple things in 8th edition that didn't make them as powerful as they were in 7th. And they, even just here, they got them back. So, first of all, the Focus of Adoration is a warlord trait. So friendly Gene Stealer cult infantry units can perform a heroic intervention while they're within 6 inches of the warlord, even if they're not characters. So if you charge the Gene Stealer warlord, every infantry unit within 6 inches is charging you.
I really like that.
Yeah, and
really
like
like
that's so fluffy that they're
Yeah.
like, no, protect the brood lord, the patriarch.
Also, not even even if you charge one infantry unit that's within 6 inches of the warlord, another infantry unit can charge the unit that charged the first infantry unit within 6 inches of the warlord. So it's not just only the people who charge the warlord, which is pretty awesome. Also, their relic is a banner, and it's +1 strength for any cult infantry within 6 inches. Pretty standard, but could be really good. But where it really shines is their stratagems. And we've got the Return to the Shadows has made a return.
Sweet. Is
So-
it the Raven Guard one?
No, so this is at the end of your movement phase, select a Gene Stealer cult infantry unit from your army that is more than 6 inches away from an enemy unit. You can't select a unit that has arrived as reinforcements. Remove the unit from the battlefield. At the end of your next movement phase, it re-enters using the cult ambush.
Cool. So it's like, you can't be sneaky if you're all up in the guy's face, but
Yeah.
if you're not all up in the guy's face, be sneaky.
And if you remember the cult ambush table, it's like if you roll a 6, they can be placed within 3 inches of an enemy model, make a shooting attack, and then charge.
That's brilliant.
And then the other stratagem is before rolling on the cult ambush table, you spend 1 command point, you roll 2 and choose either of the results. If the unit you are rolling for is a Primus or is arriving with the Primus, which is like their HQ, roll 3 dice and pick any of the results.
I love it.
That's really cool.
They deserve
really
it.
good.
They deserve it, yeah.
I think it's characterful.
They're a fantastic army. The model range, their rules. I've only played them once at Astro, and they were just a lot of fun to play against.
Yeah.
And you painted them.
Yeah, I painted a lot of them. Their vehicles are so fun to paint.
Oh, they're so awesome looking because
Yeah.
they look like real vehicles.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a couple of units here and there.
Just paint them all, right?
Yeah. Don't.
Oh.
I don't need this committed to record.
Cool, so we're done. So, okay, point changes. So this is a big one.
Yeah.
Let's do, just so we don't rehash, kind of, like, we don't want to sit here and read chapter approved to you guys. We had some fun talking about faction updates. Let's talk about point changes, just in the context of our armies.
Sure.
And the ones that we play.
So what do you got, Adam?
Yep, so my Marines and Sisters, there's basically no changes.
Yeah.
Sorry, there are no changes. Marines, I mean, they have a codex, so it's obvious that it needs to get fixed.
By bumping Gilliman 25 points.
Yeah, by increasing his point cost, but not enough.
Yeah.
And the way they offset it, like they increased it by 25 points, like you said, but they decreased all of your Primaris units, which they needed.
Did they decrease Hellblasters?
No. They decreased your basic intercessors, your inceptors, which is your astronaut men, your dropping units, your jetpack dudes, and they decreased the aggressors,
Yeah.
which they totally needed to as well.
Yeah.
So those and those are the cool units that they have right now, right? So you want to play with them. So I'm really happy they did that with the aggressors and the inceptors. Yeah, they made a bad choice on Gilman, but you know. He's for people who want to win games and tournaments. So
Like Adam.
we had one tournament, and we said let's be competitive.
Yep.
So I brought him.
He's painted blue, the rest is white.
You can't rag on me for that because you told me to do it.
I know.
I can.
He can because he knocked.
You
point-
also told me to do it,
but he knocked points off of your painting score because it wasn't a cohesive theme.
I did.
You're allowed.
Yeah, I gotta be fair, man.
Yo, it was Gilliman who said that the Loon Wolf should be remade,
I got you.
and then he's hanging out with him. Jeez, he's telling me to be fluffy, and then he knocks me when I get fluffy.
I got to.
Yeah.
He
All right,
knows I
so-
got to.
Anyways, so in a normal army, I would not take Gilliman, and so I'm really excited because the Primaris Marines, as it stands, They just don't have the options to make them cool. Like, they don't get heavy weapons in their intercessors. So you have to knock down the points so you can take a little bit more stuff to get the variety.
Yeah.
So, it's not much. It's maybe about 50 to 100 points depending how you swing it. But it was nice. So.
Yeah, so with the lists that I normally run, I didn't get a huge decrease or increase. I think it worked out to be about like 60 or 70 points across the board. But what it did do was decrease the points of a couple of models that I have sitting around that I haven't used because they've been too expensive. Notably the Fire Raptor and the Sikaran. The Sikaran got a big decrease.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to like become a linchpin in my army because I love autocannons. And just being able to...
Say it.
Yeah, the Hercules Pattern Accelerator autocannon. Like, every word gets better.
Calm down, they just threw things around the room.
I know, I'm freaking out. But yeah, so there wasn't a huge bonus to that. My Necron's got a nice little bump with the relics and stuff.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Did they get any changes in points, though?
Not that I really noticed. But probably.
It's like negligible, right?
Yeah.
So, like, who cares? Yeah.
And like, it is cool to have this new...
The Night Shroud Bomber got cheaper.
Yeah, no one takes that.
The Gauss Pylon got more expensive.
No one takes that. No one owns one.
Careful.
They're like, hey, that thing that nobody takes, let's make it more expensive so
Yeah.
people will continue to not take
Because there is one person in our gaming group who will get one eventually.
Oh, who's that?
Phil?
Oh.
Still
he
playing
probably-
Necrons?
Yeah, he's got a big Necron army.
Yeah.
He's got every
Oh,
army.
wait, I think Ball Kicker has one.
Ballkicker does have one.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I refuse to call him anything else. When your nickname was Ball Kicker because it is accurate.
Yeah. So for my standard thing, Fire Raptor went down by 60 points, which is pretty awesome. It was a little expensive.
These things just happen to Nick.
It was 450 points. It was the same amount of points as Mortarion. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
things
but it
just
can
happen to
blow
me.
up Mortarion if it gets the chance.
Doubtful. Doom Sirens dropped 12 points apiece, so they're now 10 points.
Was not necessary.
So they're awesome. Again, I was taking them at 22 points. Now they're 10 points.
These things just happen to Nick.
Yeah, because they're basically heavy flamers that ignore cover, which is sweet. So that saved me a bunch of points. On standard infantry models, there's not a lot that got changed. One of the cool things is how Dreadnought close combat weapons have changed across the board for every faction that uses Dreadnoughts. So if you buy 2 close combat weapons, it's a set price. So as before, you were paying 45 points for a Chain Claw and then doubling that to 90. Now you're just paying 55 points for the pair.
That makes so much sense.
Because you're only getting +1
Attack. It's not like you're getting more strength or like you're becoming more deadly.
So I've built a couple fun lists that I want to try out with 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts just running around with Chain Fists and stuff. And then the big one is the Hellforge Falchion got a 240 point bump, which now puts it at
Yeah.
So it's now something like 1,060 points.
It should be.
Well, yeah. Well, everyone's like, yeah, it can wipe a unit off the table a turn. It's like, it's 1,000 points. It should be able to.
Yeah. Who's that person, I might ask? Oh, Paul says that.
Oh, yeah, I say that.
Yeah.
It's-
You've never even faced it.
no, because it's dumb.
Yeah.
It sounds like a bummer.
But you've never also faced a Talarn army with 2 Shadow Swords where they outflank. And then you've got 2 Volcano Cannons in your face.
Yeah,
Oh,
because anytime someone shows up in our club with that, we call the police because they probably have bodies in their crawl space. That's psychopath behavior.
And you know what's funny is that's only made possible by an FAQ that said the hull of a model does not count the sponsons.
Yep.
Otherwise, that's not possible.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why that happened. And then, yeah, orcs, my new orc thing kind of got a little cheaper. War buggies are down 11 points, which I'm going to be using 6 of because they're awesome. Shock attack guns down points. Yeah, I'm excited to use the orcs.
Good.
Yeah.
Sweet. So I think that's all for the
Our
main topic.
So just to sum it up, going into this, we were going to make fun of the fact that it costs $40. Now we all know that we all use Battlescribe, so if you just want this for the points changes, Battlescribe does that for free.
Yeah,
So don't buy it.
The point changes are not worth the $40.
No.
And it's not the focus, obviously.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
However, I do think if you're the kind of person that likes supplementary missions, if you like your supplements like Planet Strike or Stronghold Assault, this is $40 spent really, really well.
Yeah, this gives you tons of ways to play. It's more than $40. The Apocalypse book alone was like $100.
Yeah.
To say, here's how you play Apocalypse. Now you've got it in a book with everything else.
Yeah. So I think that they realize the actual value of a lot of that stuff because they've got so much like backlogged material that has been play tested forever.
Yeah.
I think they're actually, using that backlist well.
For sure.
I don't resent the $40 price tag.
I'm just waiting for Death from the Skies.
You go to hell. You go to hell right now, Nick.
Hell's hot and forever's a long time. Here we go. So, how about we take a quick break and then go into
Fun
time. So for today, we thought it would be fun to just talk about our Christmas loot, whether it's 40K related or not. Because it's fun time. We talk about whatever we want, right?
You know what? Nice things happen to bad people, and we're about to tell you some of that.
That's it. So
So
here you go.
let's
Here's
get-
here's my little one-liner.
Okay.
What happened to be under your tree?
I got two great gifts. I got a lot of great gifts, but my two favorites are one's from my mom and one's from my girlfriend. So my mom got me the Calvin and Hobbes collection, which is every single Calvin and Hobbes comic ever made in a 4-volume box set with all the writer's notes, initial sketches. And I grew up on Calvin and Hobbes. I was not an okay child. I'm not an okay adult, but I was definitely not an okay child, and I really identified with Calvin. So it meant a lot. And my mom was the same way because she was like, I saw a lot of you and Calvin and you, and it like helped me laugh at some of the weird stuff we do because apparently I would just be like say like ridiculous things that like 8-year-old wouldn't say, like this is fascism or like this isn't fair, like we're supposed to live in a free country, like stuff that Calvin would say that my mom couldn't deal with. But Calvin and Hobbes helped her deal with that, and it made me laugh. And looking back at it, I'm like, yep, that was totally me. And like my favorite one is where he just is just walking out in the yard and he just looks up at the stars, and like a little 6-year-old kid is just like, I matter, screamed the speck of dust.
It just like zooms out. Like, yeah.
And then the other one I got was a popcorn maker from Julie.
That's a real good gift.
It's a great gift.
It's really cool.
So it's not like the Air Pop one. It's got like a pan, and it's got a little stir stick.
A little
And you put-
agitator.
Yeah, and you
So
put
like classic, like let's make this in a frying pan on the stove kind of thing, but
yeah,
Automated.
yeah.
oh, it's like the top half of the popcorn maker.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And then it's got like a glass bowl, plastic bowl that fits on top, and then it fills up, and then you flip the machine over, and then you got a bowl of popcorn.
Hey, I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And she got me a whole bunch of like flavor shakers to go along with it.
There you go.
Had some salt and vinegar popcorn last night.
Yo, I went to Cineplex and got some popcorn, and they didn't have the shakers no more.
They sell them for like $2.
You got a hell Cineplex.
They're firing people and raising their prices too because of the minimum wage.
Not a thing. But I'm not going to get crazy on this podcast about that.
No.
So it was under your tree, Paul?
Honestly, the thing that has been the most used that I've gotten from Christmas is this thing my mom just like stuffed in my stocking called an active tube. So it's just like a neck warmer. That's all it is. It's like a stretchy spandex neck warmer. But I got back to Toronto and it was like minus 28, so I bust this thing out. And it's as warm as a scarf, but it fits under like a winter jacket. So I've been using it. It pulls up over my nose. And also, I went and bought myself a new bass and a new bass amp.
That doesn't count. You just wanted to talk about your bass.
Yeah, I want to talk about how cool I am in my dad rock band. No, like
I like Dave Matthews too, man.
oh, no one likes Dave Matthews. Dave Matthews doesn't like Dave Matthews.
Dad rock. Oh.
Oh God. Actually, I think gangster rap is like old school '90s gangster rap is now dad rock. It's our dad rock. Like you see a guy listening.
He's dead.
Yeah, I feel like Adam listens to Liquid Swords all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a joke that only Simon is going to appreciate.
Yeah.
You're flying low.
That's fair. Only you can see that.
Yeah.
Adam, what was under your tree, my dude?
So we went to Atlanta for Christmas. We did kind of like a faux Christmas early, and it was fun. And I got this is just a funny story, and then I'll tell you about some other things that are actually happen to be Warhammer related. So my wife's sister and husband got me these like 2 Eddie Bauer shirts. You can imagine Eddie Bauer in the South because they're in Atlanta. They don't exactly do slim fit, and like don't have much meat on the bones.
Yeah, no.
Wasn't Eddie Bauer Canadian?
Yep. But target marketing for these companies get smart. And so they're they didn't exactly fit properly. So I took it in and got this. I got like a really cool sweater. I changed the 2 in for 1. And I took it back and was like, yo, check out this sweater that I exchanged it for. And they were like, oh, shoot. I'm forgetting the guy's name.
He doesn't listen to the podcast.
No, he did, because he's dead now. Kids TV show.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a relative.
No.
He's dead now.
They were like, nice Mr. Rogers sweater. And anyways, I was like, screw you guys, I freaking love this sweater. Thanks for the Christmas gift.
Also, do you know how cool Mr. Rogers is?
Yeah,
Because I could go on for hours about how cool Mr. Rogers is.
There you go. So I got a Mr. Rogers sweater, and I love it. Anyways, but I also kind of bought myself a Battlefield Gothic Fleet. Seeing as we're talking about gifts we buy ourselves.
Hey man, charity starts at home, and home starts where the heart is, and the heart's in your chest, and your chest is you.
Yeah. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
So buy yourself a Battlefield Gothic Fleet, and then buy him one too. And then you have someone to play against. Oh my gosh, it makes so much sense now.
Exactly.
That's so awesome.
And then
I love these things.
I received my Scale 75 paint set right before Christmas, so I was like, wifey, wrap these up and give them to me.
Yeah, I've been eyeing those, and how are you liking them?
I actually haven't used them yet.
Yeah?
Which I plan on using them when I start doing live tutorials on Twitch.
Nice.
Which we're going to launch, if you haven't seen yet, on our third podcast of the year.
Yeah.
Which will be, what's the Tuesday, the 23rd?
Do we have somebody for makeup? Because I don't really want to be on camera without that.
Just some nice rosy cheeks.
Hair and makeup.
Yeah, I'm just going to roll in like a ghoul, as pale as I am.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Uh-huh.
We'll just be as we are.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the podcast, by the way, the podcast will be live on Twitch starting the 23rd.
Not every podcast.
Hmm?
Not every podcast.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, just fun.
Doing every podcast? All right.
Hey, man, we're here. We're doing it. We're
That's
always
true.
funny.
And all those moments that we cut out, they're
Yeah, the Twitch people will get the before. They'll get the weird planning segment.
I think we need to like have a rule where like nobody can make a joke until we start recording. Because there's so much good
Save
material
them, right?
that goes on.
That is true. But
And it's like, do I want to repeat myself? Will Paul laugh if I make this joke a second time?
I will, but it'll be soulless.
Well, your laugh is soulless. Anyways.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, so the Scale 75 range was under my tree at Christmas, and I just was excited to pull it up.
Did that little holder come with it?
It did.
That is
Ooh.
smart.
Yeah. So if you heard our Warpainter ad before, they sell the whole range of Scale 75. Check it out. You get 10% off just for being with us. So awesome.
Yep. Also, dropper bottles are Why aren't every bottle a dropper bottle?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't understand why Games Workshop hasn't got into that yet. That's their next step for paints. It's got to be.
Or just go back to the old Hex flip top that didn't drip like this.
Yeah. I really don't like that weird little tab.
No.
At the back.
So in the old bottles, like the ones before they went to the ones that were screw tops, it served a really good function. It would funnel stuff back, but now it just gums up on the back.
Yeah.
Which is, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Like
No, it's
I
not
literally like spend probably, I don't know, 5 minutes every time I have a painting session, just like scraping with my clippers stuff out of the back of
Yeah,
the paint
and that's like it's GW paint, so that's like what, $70 of dried paint on every hinge.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I think we're done.
we had a good Christmas.
Happy ho ho, everyone.
Yeah, 2018 is probably going to suck as much as 2017 and 2016, but let's be positive about it until it's over.
I feel like 2018 is going to look up.
I'm pretty sure you said that about 2017.
No, 2017 I said it was going to suck as much, but we had our eyes open.
Okay. That's what I'm saying for 2018.
Yeah, see?
That's an even number.
That's a good start.
And you're talking like practical real life?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the podcast is nowhere to go but up.
Yes. Oh, I'm not talking about like real life. I was talking about like the world, maybe.
Oh, let's not talk about the real world. I'm turning this off.
And we're recording again.